You can't hold your head up. Why should I watch you walk away from a good life? Calling from cloud nine. You know it does not matter what you do. Watch me walk away from you.
Or not. This is not something physical. It's something that happens within you.
This is what I find so infuriating when it comes to, not just this particular religion, but religion in general. The idea, hey, follow the script and you're going to be just fine. Just obey, do what we're telling you to do. You're going to be fine. No, there's a responsibility in this. This is a journey that we all have. That's it's
Well,
why
see,
you're
religion
here.
allows you to do that. It allows you to pass the buck.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no
That's the point I'm
accountability in
getting at.
religion. It's just,
That's not getting you anywhere.
You follow these rules and you're fine. There's no building, there's no creating, there's no growth. It's just following dead ass rules, which the Apostle Paul called it the curse. It's a curse, and it's dead. It's a dead curse. It's the curse of the law, and these are dead works. The Apostle Paul literally called religious actions dead works.
Accept your enslavement.
Yeah.
And don't ask any of those questions. Yeah. Don't take it upon yourself to have this journey within. Don't let the Christos rise, through your chakras. Don't work towards that enlightenment. Don't realize that there's a higher, calling for you just based on what you are, and that is God by extension, a fractal of God, however you want to see it. It's not an ego thing. It's a humble thing.
Right.
It's a call for service to one another.
Yeah.
Because we recognize God in everyone.
Yep.
That's
and religion doesn't do that. It creates division.
You can't make money with that. What I just said, how are you going to make any money with that?
Well, and by the way, somebody said it in the chat. I'm glad you brought that up. I just looked and Pot Valiant said tithing was never about money. That is absolutely 100% correct. Scott, you and I have had this conversation. I think it was about a month ago. The 10% tithe. Here's what it is. You've heard it said that we use about 10% of our mind, right? Okay. Yeah. Until you're willing to give that 10% of your mind that you normally use, the conscious mind, the rest of the other 90% is subconscious. And by the way, Dr. Bruce Lipton has proved this. He talks about it in many of his interviews. He talks about it in his book, The Biology of Belief. You use about 10% of your mind. The other 90% is subconscious and unconscious. You will never gain, the whole tithing is giving the 10% to God. You will never gain control of the 90%, the largest portion of your mind that is the creator aspect, the most important part, which is actually the soul, the subconscious mind, the unconscious mind. That's your soul. You will never gain control of that until you're willing to give the 10% that is normally controlled by the ego, by Pharaoh, the ego, by Goliath, the ego that you're afraid of. You're actually afraid of yourself. You created this monster, this ego that you're actually afraid of. And until you're willing to give that 10% of the mind that you normally control through the ego, the false self, to God, you will never have access to the 90%. See, you're actually gaining. When you give God the 10%, he gives you back 100%. You get tenfold back with God.
Yeah, no, I think what motivated that comment, I referenced tithing, but I did it in the conventional sense where people are like, well, as long as I pay the money, I don't have to worry about any accountability.
It's symbolism. Yeah. Tithe means tenth, right? The word tithe literally means tenth.
I get the original intention. I'm just saying that's what I was referencing earlier was this whole idea, you go to church on Sundays, you put on a good show, doesn't matter what you do in your dark hours or whatever.
Right.
You put on the show, you agree to the script, you do the thing, you got nothing to worry about. That's bullshit.
It's all bullshit. It's robbing you of your true identity. It's robbing you of your sovereignty. It's robbing you of your salvation.
Yeah.
They're selling you up the river. Now, there's one last thing I'd like to mention because then I think we can really wrap this up. You asked about the stars, the 5-pointed star, 6-pointed star.
Sure. Yeah.
So in the occult, yeah. In the occult and in the esoteric sciences, symbols are actually technologies. You know that, right?
Yes. Oh, totally. Yeah.
Symbols are actually technologies. Why? Because it's frequency. It invokes forms of consciousness. This is why this actually ties into the whole tithing thing, because the reason the Bible refers to giving the tenth, the tithe to God, and it's related to money because it's a form of energy. Money is nothing but a representation of energy. It is the hedonistic form of energy. It is the materialistic form of energy. The original source of that energy is your spirit in here, right? And symbols invoke energetic presence. They invoke, it's a form of coding, like in computer software. There's symbols in there that invoke certain actions in the computer. Your body is a computer. Your brain is a computer. And those symbols are codes. They're technologies in the coding that will invoke certain actions. Why do you think they fly that 6-pointed star on the flag over there? That's how they're actually controlling and ruling the whole world. It's a mathematical sigil that encodes frequencies of consciousness. It's spell casting. It's the eye of Sauron over the entire world.
That's what I really wanted to get
And
into.
then it's creating the orc armies that are out there creating death, rape, pillage, punishment, everything ungodly and unimaginable. And they do it under the name of God, but they never tell you what God it is.
Yeah.
But the two most profound and misunderstood symbols in that ancient language are the 5-pointed star, the pentagram, and the 6-pointed star, the hexagram. Now, the 5-pointed star actually represents Lucifer and divine man. The upright pentagram, right? That's the risen Lucifer.
Yeah.
The one pointing downward, the Baphomet, that's the fallen Lucifer. Okay, here's where we get into the distinction between the two. So that's the actual true symbol of Lucifer, the upright 5-pointed star. Why do you think we've got those all over our American flag? We've got 50 Lucifers on our flag. We've got Lucifer over there in New York City holding up the Luciferian light torch. And what is she made of? What is she, the divine feminine, Lucifer? What is she made out of? Copper.
Right.
What is the metal in astrology for Venus, the bright and morning star? Copper. Okay? Now, there's nothing corrupted or satanic about any of this. That's the inversion. In its original divine form is what we're talking about here. The 5 points, they represent spirit ruling over the 4 elements: earth, water, air, and fire. Ether is the Christ consciousness. The missing 5th element, it's within you. If you want to overcome the mind of the God of this world, you know the word element means? El is a word for Saturn. It's an ancient Chaldean name of Saturn, the God of this world. And ment is mind. Element is the mind of Saturn, the mind of the God of this world.
Well, and El is a reference to God, right? Elohim.
Correct.
So on and so forth.
Well, Elohim is plural. It's gods.
Right.
But it more specifically was used in Babylon. El was Saturn. And so Talmudic and Jewish religion comes out of Babylon. That's why it's the Babylonian Talmud, right?
Oh, yeah.
And by the way, they claim that it was put together in 1666.
Huh.
It goes back much further than that. That they wrote it down in 1666, supposedly for the first time. It was all oral traditions, right? Well, we know their favorite oral tradition. That's when they give 8-year-old or 8-day-old babies a blowjob after they cut part of their penis off and do genital mutilation on these poor souls.
Yeah, that is a weird.
That's their favorite oral tradition. God. It's like eating lifesaver gummies and shit. Anyway, so the 5-pointed star, the Luciferian star, the upright Luciferian star, the Vitruvian man that Da Vinci drew. It's the Luciferian star. And it represents Christ consciousness within, the Luciferian spark within, overcoming the mind of the God of this world, the elements of the physical, the heavy physical, earth, water, air, and fire.
It's the
right?
struggle incumbent upon all of us, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that is it. The redemption of Lucifer within.
The
It's
Vitruvian
and
man
the
is
ascension,
Lucifer.
balance, and Christ consciousness.
It's man in perfect proportion, divine
Yeah,
geometry made flesh. The
balance. We're
Vitruvian
back
man
to
is the
balance.
Christ. Yes. And the
Yeah,
pentagram is actually, get this, the pentagram, you can fact check me on it. We don't have time to dig up. I could show you receipts if we really wanted to. We don't have time for that tonight. Just look it up. Use Google. It's easy. The pentagram is encoded into phosphorus, which again is the literal light bringer in our DNA.
Mm,
As above, so below. So
right.
again, this is not an idea. You can argue with this all you want, but you're literally arguing with 1 + 1 = 2. I'm giving you actual facts. This is not my opinion. I did not make this up. It's not some theory. I'm like, well, maybe it means this is actual fact. This is a fact of reality. So if you reject this, you're literally being the ostrich, sticking your head in the sand, pretending like the lion doesn't exist. It's about to eat your ass.
Yeah.
That's how stupid it is to reject this. It's not an opinion. These are actual facts just as much as 1 + 1 = 2. Also, the 5-pointed star we showed before represents that Venus's orbit over how many years? 8 years. I forgot to tell you that one before. I just remembered that one. And it draws that perfect 5-petaled flower. You remember have you ever read anything about the stuff that's connected to the Dan Brown stuff with the Da Vinci Code and all that, right? And remember when they went to the Rosslyn Chapel? Do you remember the rose?
Yeah.
Did you ever watch the movie? You read the books or anything?
Yeah.
There's a rose
Yeah.
line. The Rosslyn Chapel means rose line. That rose is a 5-petaled star, or a 5-petaled rose. The rose line is Venus, Lucifer. That's the rose line drawn in the sky. Let me find it again real quick.
We
The
just
rose
saw
line.
it. Yeah, you could pull it up. Yeah.
This is it. There's your rose line right there. Rosslyn Chapel. There's the rose line. The lily of the valley. Christ, Lucifer, Venus. Again, you can argue with it all you want. There's nothing to argue with. It's a fact.
Yeah.
This is not a theory. It's a fact. That's where all this stuff comes from. And it is said, the mythology of the whole bloodline of Christ with the Rosslyn Chapel, the bloodline of Christ, the rose line, the bloodline, roses are red, right? The blood of Christ. She is the divine feminine, or Mary Magdalene is buried in the Rosslyn Chapel, the Roseline Chapel. Mary Magdalene, the divine feminine, she's buried right here. What happens when you bury something? It's not dead. You bury seeds. They're very much alive. You bury the Christ seed, it comes back, it resurrects, and it bears fruit, the tree of life. The divine feminine is buried in this rose line right here. Venus pattern, the 5-pointed star, the bright and morning star. Christ, I am the bright morning star. I am Lucifer. I am that inner light. I'm the 5-pointed pentagram that's literally encoded into phosphorus in your DNA. As above, so below. The Luciferian rose. Beauty, love, light, harmony, balance, all the stuff you just said. Now, so why is it such a big deal then when you have, I think you could see it now, why it's such a big deal when you invert that star, the Baphomet, right?
Right.
Spirit is crushed under matter. This is not Lucifer. This is the fallen Lucifer, or Hesperus. Remember, we've talked about that. There's the evening star. That's Hesperus. And Phosphorus is the bright morning star. It's Castor and Pollux in pagan mythology. That's Gemini, the twins, the bipolar twins. Cain and Abel. Jacob and Esau. And Jesus and Judas. Judas was that twin that was spoke of. Judas
And within every pantheon, there's
was
that
the
theme
twin.
is echoed over and over and over again. Yeah.
That's in the book of James, the last verse of the book of James that has been deleted. It exists still in one copy of the book of James in a museum in the UK. I'll do a show on that actually, because I got to bring out I have the receipts for it. And it wasn't my research. It's research that I've stumbled upon that was done by a couple of really, really good, I guess you would call them alternative historians. It really should be the mainstream, but it's Unfortunately, it's alternative, but it is true, and I'll talk about it at some point. But so when you invert this 5-pointed star, it becomes the symbol of material domination, control, and dark sorcery. Black magic, right? Witchcraft. By the way, the word witchcraft literally means mind control. People have been programmed by religion, by the ones who invert the star. They've been told that witchcraft is, sacrificing cats under a full moon, dancing around naked in the middle of the night in the woods, right? That's not witchcraft. That's lunacy. That's psychosis. Witchcraft is literal mind control. What the media does every day, what the public school systems, the public fool systems do, that's witchcraft. What Big Pharma does, that's witchcraft. Witchcraft comes from the word pharmakia, which is the same place we get our word pharmacy from. Witchcraft is mind control. Has nothing to do with the stuff they sold you on and their mythical little theaters on TV and in the churches and in the schools. It's all bullshit. And again, in the upright form, the pentagram is the awakening of the Christos within. So inverting it, that's why it's Baphomet. It's the beast, right? The goat. Saturn. What's Saturn? Yep. The goat. Capricorn. The goat. Saturn. Ruled by Saturn. Now, that brings us to the 6-pointed star, the last point we're going to make, and then we can wrap it up. So let's go back to that 6-pointed star. No, I found it here. This guy, the cube, Saturn. The one on the Saturn. Here, let's just go ahead and pull it up for the kids in the back that may not be getting it yet. Here we go. let's just pull it up. Here it is. Saturn's cube, Satan's cube, the star of Baphomet, right there. We'll leave them all up there. Just a bunch of them, right? Just leave them all up there. I'm not going to hone in on one of them.
Right.
It is actually called the Star of Baphomet, or the Star of Molech in the Bible. So before we go, I'll pull up those two scriptures. Actually, before I explain that, let me just do that real quick. Let's jump to that. So we got Amos. I'm trying to remember. Let me type it in. Which two scriptures is it in? Help me out. Acts chapter 7. I remember that one. Yeah, Acts chapter 7 is the same one that tells you that God does not dwell in temples made with hands. God dwells within you. It's the same one that tells you about the star of Remphan. So that's the first one. Let's go to that one. It's also in the Old Testament. And in Amos, what chapter is it here? Let's do this one first, real quick. I think we already brought it up in the series, but one more time for the kids in the back. Acts chapter 7, it is, hold on, verse 43. Let's blow this up a little bit bigger. Now, they call it also the Star of Remphan, but Remphan is the same as Molech.
Right.
Which essentially is the same as Baphomet, the two-horned beast, right? Here it is. Acts 7:43. Yea, you took up the tabernacle of Molech and the star of your god, Remphan. Figures which you made to worship them. They made them. God didn't make this. God's not responsible for this star. And if you want to do the historical research, you'll see that the star of Remphan or the star of Molech is that 6-pointed star. We don't have time to dig in all of it, but you can do your own historical research. Just know that it's there.
And Moloch, it would be, I think, well suited to point out that that's the god of child sacrifice.
Correct.
Which is kind of what we're dealing with in this Great Awakening.
And it's Amos chapter 5. Let's go to that one real quick. That'll be the last one, and then I'll get on to this point. What was it again? Chapter 5, verse 26. Okay. So, for those who are like, well, that's just the New Testament. It's anti. Let's go to that one real quick. That'll be the last one, and then I'll get on to this point. What was it again? Chapter 5, verse 26. Okay. So, for those who are like, well, that's just the New Testament. It's anti-Semitic. The New Testament's anti-Semitic. Well, guess what? Amos the Semite. Amos is the one of the original of the tribes of Israel, the real Israel. Amos, the prophet, he wrote in the Old Testament. So it's not just in the New Testament, it's in the Old Testament too. Written by a real Heb, verse 26. Amos 5:26. But you have borne the tabernacle of your Molech and Chiun. Chiun is another name for Remphan. That's a Hebrew name for it. There's different variations of it. You can look it up, but that's what it is. You have borne the tabernacle of your Molech and Chiun, or Remphan, your images, the star of your God, which you made for yourselves. There it is.
There it is.
Now you know
There
why
it
they
is.
fly it. It didn't just come out of nowhere. Now you
Well,
know
and
why
as
they
a
picked it.
sigil, it's more than just a flag, isn't it?
Yeah. It's what we just talked about
Yeah.
earlier. It's a
Yeah.
technology.
It sure is.
It is a frequency technology, a sigil that programs the mind. It is the eye of Sauron, creating an orc army to destroy the world.
Which we've seen that. I mean, look at
Yeah.
Portland right now. Yeah.
Yep. Now they call it the Star of David again. The word, the term Star of David, Seal of Solomon, does not appear anywhere in the Bible. Nowhere. And this 6-pointed star obviously predates the creation of this flag and their claim that it's the Star of David. You trace it all the way back to Babylon, even to Egypt and India as well. It's a Saturnian symbol of power, structure, and containment or control. And just as you know, we looked at it earlier. Where was it at? I got it here. Which one? I got too many tabs open now. I got to find it. There it is. That one right there. The one that all the light workers, spiritualists, New Age people. I love how they call themselves New Age. It ain't nothing new about it. It's about the oldest stuff there is.
It's
Bragging
pretty old.
about, sacred geometry and the Metatronic cube. I hate to break it to you, but it's a symbol of containment. It's a symbol of structure and power. How do you create? I've explained this to people before. So this is a studio right here. There's stuff that you can't see. In front of this room is huge. In front of me, off the sides, and everything. Big recording studio, and it is a cube. When you're inside of a cube, you have something called standing waves. This is just laws of physics. We struggle with this. We have to use all kinds of sound treatment on the walls and in the corners and all kinds of different things to stop what's called standing waves. It actually lessens the quality of the sound if you have standing waves because they're frequencies that are conflicting with each other. It's an interesting thing about cubes. They actually create standing waves. You get better.
Like distortion?
What's that?
Distortion?
No, standing waves. They're sound waves that actually will like freeze in time. That's why I call them standing waves. It's not distorted. Yeah. It's not distortion. No. It can be related to the square or the block cube because distortion is actually created when you take the smooth curvy line and you create it into digital, square cutouts. That's how you get like heavy guitar distortion. It takes that smooth analog, turns it digital basically, and turns it into blocks or cubes, right? That's what creates that distorted sound, that heavy sound, that grinding sound. It's not smooth. It's not mellow, right? It's not feminine anymore. Now it's masculine. Now it's control, right? This is all as above, so below stuff. This is all ancient alchemy, metaphysics stuff that I'm teaching you here. But so in a studio like this or any studio here in Nashville, you have the problem of standing waves because these waves will bounce off of these square patterns in a square room, and they will create standing waves, which actually lessens the sound. You ever hear a demo tape recorded by somebody that's really quiet? You know why? It was loud when they were recording it. Why is it quiet on the tape? And then you listen to other people's tapes and they're loud, right? It's because one was recorded by a professional who dealt with the standing waves in the room and treated the acoustics appropriately. They have proper sound treatment in the room to eliminate the standing waves, right? And also, there's a such thing as phase inversion too. A lot of times we have to flip the phase of a sine wave of a signal in the studio So it's not fighting or competing with something else, another instrument that's very similar. You have this inside of a cube, inside of something that's contained and controlled. It lessens the quality. It lessens the power and the tone. As opposed to in a sphere, which is the feminine form, the acoustics are much better in a sphere. And we're naturally in a sphere. But we have been artificially, you see these spheres on the screen that have been put inside of the cube?
Right.
That is what religion does. That is what this Metatronic cube does. It contains and traps the infinite power source of the seed, the Christ seed of your eternal God consciousness. It traps it and contains it. This is what they call harvesting loosh. What is loosh? It's your life force energy. So why are the love and light people out there, the new age people, the spiritualist people, why are they always bragging about this symbol?
Don't put it in a box, right?
If you look at the Sorona symbol on our bottles, it's actually the Christos 12-pointed eternal fractal. You cannot contain it in a cube. There's a reason why we made that symbol for Sorona. It's the true tree of life instead of based on this, which is the tree of death.
Yep.
This is where the 666 comes from.
This is Kabbalah.
It's Kabbalah, the cube of Saturn. This is how, if you want to take a system, now this isn't inherently evil. What I'm saying is they're using this mathematical principle over your life energy. You're supposed to use this mathematical principle over certain things in your own life that you're going to contain and control. That's how you have balance. So on the micro scale and done in a responsible way, this pattern is actually useful. It serves a purpose. The problem is they put you inside this cube, the Saturn moon matrix that David Icke talks about. That's what this is.
Yeah.
Okay? It is a technology. It is a mind control sigil frequency. It lessens your power, but it allows them to keep you weak enough, but still alive, where they can siphon your energy and control you. That's called harvesting loosh. So again, don't mistake this for this is inherently evil. There's nothing inherently evil about lines drawn on a piece of paper on a graph. There's nothing inherently evil about mathematics. That's all this is. What I'm trying to show you is how they have used the technology that's inherently in the mathematics against you as a weapon.
It's functional.
And this represents restriction, karma, and law. Saturn. The hexagram overlays the black cube. You know, their Saturnian black cube. Sacred in all the Saturn worship, whether you're talking Hasidic Jews, Orthodox Jews, or you know, wearing it on their forehead over their pineal gland, or the Muslims who march around in clockwise fashion, their chronological time clock, God, Chronos, Saturn.
Right.
And it encodes 6 points, 6 triangles, and 6 central hexagons. 6, 6, 6. It's also how you control the human body. The carbon atom. 6 protons, 6 electrons, 6 neutrons. It's the number of man trapped in the matrix, the Saturn moon matrix. It is the sigil of the archonic demiurge.
Well, you aren't kidding.
Any Republican, any MAGA person out there who's still sucking Israel's dick, you are literally supporting Satanism. That is not the real Israel. They hijacked that name. They used it to deceive you. They are the wolf in sheep's clothing. They are the false gods who rule under their archonic demiurge over every single one of us. And we're still sending them fucking money, still sending them weapons. These people are literally out to destroy you, to harvest your energy, keep you as a slave. They don't want the divine spark within you. They don't to waken up. They don't want the Christ within you to resurrect. They want to control you. This is true satanic structure. Their legalism, their religious dogma, their corporate control, the political oppression. It is Saturn's prison. And there's still fucking people that are so under the spell on the political right and even in the MAGA movement, they don't even see that they're being ruled by satanic